Good evening. My name is Edward Sanchin Oberholzer. I'm the resident priest and guiding teacher here at the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. We're an affiliate of Empty Moon Zen. So many mysteries in life. Quantum entanglement, spooky action at a distance. That old song lyric from the Firesign Theater. How can you be in two places at once if you're not anywhere at all? And here, closer to home, or at least closer to what I can wrap my head around, the question of just why do we care about, just why would we help our fellow man? Speaking of spooky action at a distance. Christians, and not just Christians, have a view towards eternal life, a reward in heaven, an eternity in hell, a kind of quid pro quo to ensure that you act properly, and if not with compassion, then at least with a simulacra of compassion. Although how a discrete act in the present can have eternal consequences and still be called just is beyond me. But what of us? What, if anything, compels a Buddhist to do good? What, if anything, is the good? We do have, if you accept the notion of rebirth in a more literal sense than I'm willing to do, we do have a notion of hell, although you can, in essence, earn your way out. And the being in charge is there to see that you do. I was talking to a fellow follower of the way the other day concerning mortal compulsion and Buddhism. He could see it in Christianity, but could not see it in Buddhism, and asked the reasonable question of why we act as we do. It set me off on a long and twisted road. Let me take you along for the ride, beginning just 2 rooms over by my kitchen range. I spend a fair amount of time in the kitchen and found myself stirring pots of thick, molten concoctions, spitting and fuming on the stovetop. And there is nothing quite like having a pot of polenta burp up a blob of molten cornmeal on the side of your hand as you tend to it. And should, or rather when that happens, without a thought, without a moment's hesitation, you turn to the sink and put that hand under a stream of cold water. No compulsion, no I should do this, no thought, no time for thought. You just turn and to do it. And that hand is ever so far away from the rest of me. All the way down at the end of my arm, and there it is, still a part of me, a part in pain, a part that needs care. There's no debate that takes place, no weighing of consequences. I don't stop to say to myself, I watch out for my overall health. I pay for health insurance. I shouldn't have to make extra allowances for that burned hand. I don't wonder, if I care for this hand now, will it take advantage of my largesse and go and spend it on drugs or alcohol? No, my hand is injured. I cradle it and I care for it. So, let me here make an abrupt turn on one of those 99 twists in the road. About 60 years ago, I was in a 5th grade class at the James A. Garfield Elementary School in Hamilton, Ohio, with a teacher who would gather us together every once in a while, stand us all up by the blackboard, and lead us in song. I was, as my mother would have told you, a glum child, and festive singing was not in my nature. I only remember one of the songs, a piece called No Man is an Island. There are versions that would be sung by Joan Baez and other folkies. You can find them on YouTube. It was clearly influenced by John Donne, whose feast day is today, on this, the 392nd anniversary of his death. Donne's 17th meditation, a part of the Devotions on Emergent Occasions, goes famously, "No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thy friends or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." Now, what haunts me today about those elementary school choral interludes about 60 years ago is that looking now across the state line to Ohio, I can't imagine in today's world a fifth grade Midwestern teacher leading her class in a song so clearly influenced, if not by socialism, then at least by that near kin to socialism, FDR's New Deal. The song itself has lyrics that, if not with the grace of John Donne, still have a firm and poignant fellow feeling, and they go, "No man is an island, no man stands alone. Each man's joy is joy to me, each man's grief is my own. We need one another, so I will defend each man as my brother, each man as my friend." A thoroughly fitting introduction to the non-dual for a group of school kids. But this is where I find myself thinking back to that moral compulsion that my friend searched for and could not find in Buddhism. There is no need to search. There is no need for compulsion. Deep into the boundless, deep in emptiness, deep in our hearts, we are one. You and I, you and the cushion that supports you, my cat and I, we are all of that continent. We are all a part of the main, each a part of and interpenetrating with, as connected to one another as is my hand, that injured hand there at the end of my arm. See, I did bring it back. And just as when I turn without thought, without calculation, without conscious intent, to place that burned hand in a stream of soothingly cold water, so without thought, without calculation, without conscious intent, do we reach out to one another. No compulsion, no unearthly demands, no promise of reward, just pure instinct. Like Guan Yin in Case 89 in the Blue Cliff Record. Yunyan asked Dao Wu, "How does the Bodhisattva Guan Yin use all those hands and eyes?" Dao Wu answered, "It's like someone in the middle of the night reaching behind her head for the pillow." "I understand," returned Yunyan. "How do you understand it?" asked Dao Wu. "All over the body are hands and eyes." "That's very well expressed," replied Dao Wu, "but it's only 8/10 of the answer. How would you say it, elder brother?" "Throughout the body are hands and eyes." Now, of course, life doesn't work out like that. You undoubtedly say. A stranger approaches, puts his hand out, and we turn away. Our minds, no, let me be honest, my mind immediately goes into the mode of justifying my lack of help. He'll misuse the money. He'll buy drugs, booze. He doesn't look all that destitute. I support homeless shelters. I give to the United Way. Why doesn't he go there? As my literary ancestor once said in A Christmas Carol, are there no prisons, no workhouses? And that homeless kitten there, that kitten probably has fleas, and the dog looks to have rabies. I have all of these boxes ready-made to put those I encounter into, locked away in safety. The judging mind steps forth to protect me and my wallet. One moment, in just one moment, an instant, and the thoughts rise up, the armor is put on, the hand which was open just a moment ago closes. But there in that split second before the hand closes, just there when the hand is still open, when we are still open, still vulnerable, still a part of that boundlessness, in that moment, before the knowing mind shuts the door, before it paints the other with its conceptual paintbrush, before it knows all the boxes to employ, in that split second, reach back to that pillow in the middle of the night. We have, before the door closes, before the open hand becomes a fist, we have that chance, that call to be the bodhisattva, Guanyin, like plunging a burned hand into something soothing and ice cold, without a thought, without compulsion. That moment, hold on to that moment with an open hand and listen, for you are involved with mankind. Listen, do you hear it? That bell, it tolls for thee. Thank you.